And you just felt it, didn't you? That shift in the air, like someone had just, I don't know, cranked up the thermostat on the whole room. We were right in the middle of this really delicate conversation, you know? All these quiet jabs flying, the alliances shifting, the way D.L.B's presence was still kind of looming even though he wasn't there. We had been talking about the hustle, the unspoken truths, that almost ceremonial princess talk, which was, let's be real, anything but cute. And then this voice, just this resonant, defiant warmth cuts through all the sugar palm chatter like a blade. Fuck them Reddit threads.
Yeah, it wasn't just a line, was it? It felt like a declaration, a manifesto almost.
Yeah.
Delivered with this like sultry, casual force. It just hung there, a challenge.
Totally.
And then you see them, Murray Lux and Leona J stepping in, just owning the space, right?
Yeah.
And Melody Sin trailing just a few steps behind, like an exclamation point. It was incredible. Instantly reset the whole atmosphere, changed the unspoken rules of the room. You know, it was just pure confidence. Like something held back for too long and finally let loose. You felt the whole table just pause. Everyone reacting differently, instinctively.
Absolutely. And I remember thinking, like, is this calculated? Because the timing, the sheer theatricality of it, it was just too perfect. You know, who benefits from that kind of entrance right then, right after we've been deep into the princesses stuff, dissecting what it really means to earn your place?
Right.
It didn't feel like a coincidence, not at all. It felt like a period on a sentence already being written, and then bam, new chapter opens right there. A deliberate, almost strategic assertion.
It absolutely felt strategic. The emotional impact was like tangible. You could feel the energy shift. The volume went up, but it also got sharper, focused. Demanding attention. This wasn't just an entrance. It was claiming space, a signal that things were about to get deeper, maybe even more raw. And the visual Murray and Leona leading, that shared intensity, and Melody as that final kind of provocative flourish. It said so much about their power, their roles.
And for those of you just diving in with us now, if you're feeling a bit lost, remember that this is part 2 of our deep dive into that sugar palm sit-down. Last time, we got into the initial group, the Vegas roots, that shaped so much of this intense, creative world.
And that trauma lab feel.
Exactly. Where glamour often hid something much grittier. We explored the raw honesty D.L.B seems to demand, those underlying tensions, the jabs, and yeah, his heavy presence, even in absence, felt like we were just scratching the surface, didn't it?
Definitely. We talked about how Vegas, for a lot of them, wasn't glitter. It was night shifts, survival. And D.L.B, in his way, was like collecting stories, recording survival patterns. He wasn't just a producer. He was an archivist of resilience. And the women initially there, Gia, Emi, Minx, River, Tala, Zong, Julia, Sophia, they all carried that history. You saw it in the banter, the insights, the subtle jostling for position or affirming loyalty.
Yeah.
There was already this undercurrent of unsaid things, shared experiences that bound them, but also caused friction. You felt the weight of their journeys, how they fought to be seen in a world trying to erase them.
So today our mission really is to peel back even more layers. With these new arrivals, the table expanded and the stakes just went way up. We're going deeper into the loyalty, the rivalry, the unspoken truths that kind of burst out. We'll explore the dynamics between these powerhouse women, the hidden meanings, and how that shadow of D.L.B's departure looms over everything, coloring every word, every look. This is about finding the raw, unscripted history beneath the performance.
Getting to the unseen narrative.
Exactly. We're looking for those secrets that only show up when you stop trying to make sense of the surface and just let the current pull you in. Let those stories they said were too real finally come out. Okay, so let's unpack that moment. Murray Lux and Leona J walk up. Melody Sin right behind. You could literally feel the air change, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't subtle. It was like the room found its true center of gravity. Not just new people joining, but like powerful new elements dropped into an already volatile mix. You just knew the equilibrium was shot.
Right.
And watching the nonverbals was fascinating. Sophia and Julia, who'd been kind of holding court, they softened. Their whole posture shifted. It was like now the circle felt complete.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It didn't feel spontaneous. It felt anticipated. Like, okay, the missing pieces are here now.
Yeah.
Their presence immediately realigned things, affirmed they were integral, not just additions. The reactions from the original group, a mix of nods, maybe some tension tightening, but also this sense of, okay, now we get the full story. Now the real power dynamics are in play.
It felt like the official narrative of just a casual get-together just kind of melted away right there.
Exactly. Revealing the deeper, unseen narrative of a very carefully put together assembly.
And it definitely felt like their arrival emboldened some people. Because right then, Minx, who'd been working that princess angle all along, turns to Taladiwada and hits her with it again, sharper this time, almost like performing for the newcomers. So they still calling you the princess of 11 SOX? Cute! I thought queens didn't need titles handed to them. That's not just banter, that's a calculated shot, isn't it? What's she really trying to do there? Undermine Tala? Or assert her own place? Draw a line about what true power looks like in their world.
It's definitely calculated, multi-layered. Classic Minx, really. She keeps bringing it up, and it points to this deep tension. Tala was the first signing, right? Often seen as D.L.B's muse. That carries weight, a certain mystique of being chosen.
Yeah.
Minx, coming from that background of earning rent one dance at a time, like we talked about, she constantly pits her struggle against what she sees as Tala's easier path.
Yeah.
Handed to her.
Right.
So she's questioning Tala's title, sure, but also her legitimacy, her right to be a queen if she didn't climb the same way. It's a psychological battle for status. Who really embodies that raw 11 SIX grit? Meritocracy versus perceived favoritism, playing it right there.
And then Melody Sin, who's literally just walked in, she immediately jumps in, fuels the fire, adds her voice with this playful but definitely edged, worked better as a bar anyway, you heard it, referencing her own track, Grip Too Nice. What does Melody gain there? Just arrived, new dynamic, and bang, she's in the mix, siding with Minx. It's an immediate power play, isn't it?
Oh, it's a masterclass in strategic alignment. And self-promotion, let's be real. She's not just a new face. She's making her mark unapologetically. By backing Minx's jab, she aligns with that direct, no-nonsense energy, challenges the soft spots.
Yeah.
It feeds her whole takeover vibe, her persona. It also kind of subtly positions her own success, her lyrics, as maybe more impactful than any title Tala holds, especially Princess.
Yeah.
She's basically saying, my words hit harder, asserting dominance right away, linking her brand to an existing rivalry.
Like always, just unflinching. Takes a slow sip, then calmly replies, lines stick when they touch a nerve. I don't need to claim anything. History already put me where I stand. And that line, wow, it lands with this quiet weight. It's not defensive. It's just a reassertion of her place, her history, a history that precedes a lot of them. What does that self-possession tell you about her?
It's incredibly powerful because she refuses to get dragged into the pettiness. She acknowledges the nerve they're trying to hit, almost validates the effort, but then dismisses its impact with total authority. History already put me where I stand.
Yeah.
It's quiet, but it's absolute. She won't be defined by labels or jabs. She grounds her power in something solid, her history, her contributions, her undeniable bond with D.L.B. It speaks volumes about her internal strength, her understanding of her own legacy, her security. She's basically saying, you can try, but I exist on a different level of legitimacy.
Playful on the surface.
But that current underneath, significant, hinting at deeper histories, future competitions that are all constantly navigating. Who holds the real power? That's always the question.
Okay, let's dig into these new voices. Each one brings such a different energy, starting with Melody Sin. Just an unapologetic force, right? Arrives, drops that line referencing her own track, sets this intense, provocative tone immediately. We know the persona, whispery, sultry, melodic textures, the clapping specialist, former stripper, self-claimed throat goat, and she tells you straight up, I'm not here to be liked, I'm here to be felt. What's that philosophy about? Where does that come from?
Well, the psychology there is fascinating. That directness, it's a shield, but also a statement of ownership, a direct challenge to the industry's often superficial idea of cute or palatable women.
Right.
Her saying, I'm not here to be liked, I'm here to be felt. And when D played that beat, he didn't ask who wanted it. He asked who could handle it. That's why it's mine. That speaks to this deep self-possession forged through, well, a journey. For a former stripper, undoubtedly dealing with judgment, objectification, needing to control her narrative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Her background informs everything. That takeover mentality, wanting to be felt, not liked, it's rejecting superficiality for raw impact. She knows real power isn't about being popular. It's about visceral connection. It's that unseen narrative of reclaiming identity through art, turning vulnerabilities into strength.
And that princess bar from Grip Too Nice, she a princess, cute, I'm a problem, widely rumored to be about Tala. But here's where it gets really layered. The talk that Joyens, the producer, actually added Tala's hum to the beat after hearing Melody's line. Like the music itself is in on the drama. Doesn't
that just create this incredible feedback loop? If Joyens really did that, it makes the track even more potent. A meta-commentary on the whole 11SIX dynamic.
Totally.
It elevates a personal jab into like a permanent part of the art. immortalizes the rivalry.
Right.
And that kind of responsive production, it's pure D.L.B. world, isn't it? Nothing wasted. Every emotion, challenge, interaction ends up on a record. He's not just producing music, he's curating this living archive of their relationships, their history, an unfiltered sonic diary, capturing those unseen layers.
Then you have Mirai Lux, who feels totally different, like a quiet killer, tri-heritage Korean, Mexican, Japanese, based in Vegas, NSFW lyrics, that nightlife energy, signed in 2025. But her process, stacking vocals, singing in Korean, Spanish, English, believing multilingual feels like multiverse, every version tells a slightly different truth. And D.L.B, the archivist, sometimes leaves the rawest one on the album. How does that background shape her art and his choices?
That multiverse idea is so insightful. It's key to her whole thing. Her background isn't just trivia, it's her method, her philosophy of truth. Each language, each cultural lens lets her express nuances a single language might miss.
Right, like different emotional shades.
Exactly. A memory in Korean carries different weight than in Spanish or English. D.L.B. is not just recording words, he's capturing the feeling in each choice, like alternate realities of truth in her vocal stacks. And leaving the rawest version, that shows his commitment to authenticity over polish, genuine emotion over commercial appeal, trusting his artists to be multifaceted, unfiltered. He actively seeks out and amplifies those complex survival patterns in her linguistic tapestry.
She also said something really profound, almost a counterpoint to Melody's explosion. It's easy to disappear in this circle, not because they erase you, but because you erase yourself trying to keep up. I stayed quiet on purpose, let the music speak first. Such a contrast to Melody, but both make a huge impact. How does that quiet strategy work there? What's the power in her silence?
Her quiet strategy is smart. It's self-preservation, but also a calculated power move. In a world of loud voices, constant self-promotion, choosing silence and letting the music speak first shows deep conviction, confidence in the art. It's about building a foundation of artistry, not chasing immediate attention. So her presence gets felt even when she's not talking, like a fingerprint in the room, It lets her observe, absorb, then deliver when it really counts, making her impact deep, lasting, built on substance, not just noise. And the rumor tying her to D.L.B's Tokyo verse Indifferent, that intricate layered verse about complex love, a fleeting present, it points to her subtle yet significant influence, leaving a mark without being the loudest.
And finally, Leona J. Described as part of the foundation. Can't tell the 11SIX story without her. Trap soul, R&B, plug-in MB, mixed heritage, black, Mexican, white. Known for raw emotion, that fierce luxury vibe. Met D.L.B at a universal writing camp, but they started building something else on the side. And crucially, she's one of the very few who can apparently push him without getting shut down, even rearranging his hooks. That's a level of trust.
Wow.
Leona really embodies resilience, authenticity, surviving next to D.L.B without being erased by his myth. That's huge. Speaks volumes about her talent, her strong sense of self, her vision.
Definitely.
Being able to push him isn't just charm. It's earned respect for her insight, her skill. She's not just the singer. She's like a structural engineer for the sound. There are stories, kept quiet mostly, of her completely reworking bridges, hook melodies D.L.B laid down, elevating them in ways he admitted he couldn't have seen.
It shows mutual elevation, a rare partnership where they inspire and refine each other. And her lyrics, out of range, pretty girl rage from her debut. They consistently show that strength, those boundaries, demanding respect, expressing rage, refusing to be taken for granted. She's a force. D.L.B respects as an equal, letting her shape his work because her input makes it stronger.
And her bond with Brianna, the Storm Sisters, legendary stuff, rooted in pain and performance, riot and rescue, mutual empowerment as loyalty. The story about the Make It Rain competition at Passion Room, where D.L.B apparently doesn't mind losing if it means their joy gets louder. She nailed her philosophy herself. Y'all confuse sensual with messy. I don't flirt with attention. I just don't hide from it. They want to put you in a category. Muse, mystery, mistake. I've been all three. Still showed up on time. Still rewrote hooks. Still made the track bleed. That's a whole life philosophy right there.
Incredibly powerful. Self-aware, refusing to be pigeonholed by an industry that loves labels for women. She owns every part of herself, sensuality, history, emotions, challenging those reductive boxes. Her bond with Brianna, chosen family, mutual empowerment through shared experience, loyalty. The Passion Room story, more than an anecdote, shows D.L.B's respect for their connection, their joy. He saw their bond was more valuable than any win, and he fostered environments for that authentic joy. It's a strategic alliance for survival in a tough landscape.
Mm.
And Sophia, noting the recurring collabs between Tala, Murray, and Leona as more than coincidence, suggests D.L.B. intentionally uses that chemistry, creating this powerful, interconnected web, like a secret society of talent.
So let's circle back to Minx and Tala again, because it just keeps simmering, doesn't it? Minx's princess jab, the comments about Tala not earning rent, one dance at a time, staying on wax, not on the pole. It feels less like rivalry and more like deep resentment, competition fueled by history. What's driving Minx's need to constantly challenge Tala?
There's definitely an intense psychology there. It seems rooted in, envy, a desire for attention, but also this genuine, almost ideological belief in her kind of hustle. She sees her path literally jancing for rent in Vegas, struggling as the true test of grit.
Right, the real way.
Exactly. And Tala, the first signing, the muse, represents a different entry point.
Yeah.
One Minx sees as maybe easier, less earned. That creates this fundamental tension, a clash of narratives about paying dues. Minx thrives on friction, on heat and burn.
Yeah.
And Tala, with her quiet strength, her undeniable position, provides that friction.
Yeah.
So challenging Tala isn't just about diminishing her. It's about asserting Minx's own definition of world, her own hard-won legitimacy in the 11SEX world.
Yeah.
It's like a system critique through personal attack.
And it all builds to this completely wild moment, totally unexpected. Minx, with this playful but super pointed grin, just throws it out there. Who gave D the best, you know? Loving. The table kind of skirts it initially. Nervous laughs from Amy and Gia, joking, we won't ever know unless he puts it in a song. Zong's dry wit, all I know is who it is. You feel the tension like, uh-oh, line's about to be crossed.
Right.
But then Minx, with this unsettling confidence, just drops it. We know it's Leona. And Tala, for once, genuinely surprised. Me, the official narrative. A crude, playful question, but the unseen narrative underneath. That's the real story.
Tala's surprise feels real for a split second, but then you see it shift, that knowing smirk, acknowledging a deep, unspoken truth. But what's truly stunning, what defines the unseen narrative, is the unanimous agreement from the table.
Right. No one was shocked.
Not one person was surprised or shocked by Tala being named the best one. It wasn't just agreement. It was collective affirmation. The silence after Minx said it, before the nods and knowing looks, deafening. It completely shifts everything we thought we knew.
Totally.
It reveals this hidden history between D.L.B. and Tala, a secret known, acknowledged by the inner circle. Even if Tala plays it off with, y'all love starting trouble. That line, her laughing about her own lyric from Say It With Your Throat, a track known for its bold intimacy, I didn't get put on Tala. Say it with your throat just because. It all points to this deep, shared intimacy beyond just music.
Wow.
She carries that history, that connection, that understanding without letting it define her. It's a source of her quiet strength, a bond that's both personal and professional, foundational.
This reveal is huge. It explains so much retroactively. Tala's foundational role, her unique ability to answer D.L.B. in her songs, having this profound lyrical dialogue across tracks. It suggests a deeper bond, an unspoken agreement, an intimacy that makes her more than just an artist on the label, not just the first, but the one. And the fact that everyone knew it, acknowledged it. That's the heart of the Minx jealousy recognized.
Exactly.
It's not just about being first or the muse, it's a depth of connection the others couldn't replicate. That's power you can't compete with, and Minx had to confront it right there.
It absolutely creates this foundational understanding of the hierarchy, the emotional landscape of 11SSX. Tala, responding to D.L.B.'s music, flipping his words back in tracks like Hustler's Prayer or Say to You, takes on even deeper meaning now.
Right.
It suggests not just artistic chemistry, but profound understanding born from that intimacy. This knowledge, now out there, acknowledged by the group, solidifies her position like nothing else could, explains the almost sacred space she occupies in his orbit, and in the whole 11SIX universe. It's the ultimate validation, and maybe the ultimate source of Minx's frustration.
And it's moments like that where you see the complex loyalties. Despite the competition, Minx's jabs, when Melody tried to keep poking Tala after the reveal, Leona, Murray, and Sophia shut it down immediately. Leona cuts in, calm as ever, and your verse only worked because it had her name in it. Don't forget that. Murray follows, quiet but firm. Tala's not a word to throw around. She's a whole history. We don't stand here if she wasn't first. And then Sophia, with that calm authority that just ends arguments. Watch the line, Mel. She's family. You don't get to make her bleed for your punchlines. That's a unified defense. Powerful.
That is a truly powerful display of the unspoken code. To be family there means protection. Untouchable in certain ways, even amidst fierce sparring. It's a clear line drawn not by D.L.B. but by the women themselves, defining who's foundational, who crosses the line.
Yeah.
They acknowledge the competition, sure, but assert that boundaries around Tala's history and significance are non-negotiable. Shows that beneath the rivalries, there's deep collective respect, especially for Tala's unique, almost sacred position. This defense reinforces that unseen narrative of a tight-knit community, chosen family forged in Vegas. Despite the heat, they protect their own, a fierce, unyielding bond beyond individual ambition.
As the conversation shifted, after those intense personal moments, this undeniable weight just settled over the table. The quiet, somber acknowledgement of D.L.B's departure, December 31st. Not just a date, but a deadline looming over their world. A countdown. You felt it when River quietly agreed it was heavier than just a shift, whispering, "Because it is." Just the sound of reality sinking in.
It was a profound moment of collective grief. A palpable sense of finality filled the room. Amy saying, "He knew none of us could hold him down when the time came." That speaks to this resigned acceptance, understanding his nature, his path. And Sophia's assertion, "No, you feel it too. He's already gone," cutting through Julia's denial. It highlighted the emotional prep he'd put them through, maybe without meaning to. They'd lived with this shadow so long, the actual departure would just confirm an emotional truth they already felt.
Right, Gia just saying, "That's not retirement talk, that's goodbye talk." Just nailed it.
It really did. This wasn't just business changing. It was personal loss for every woman there. The end of an era. The start of something unknown.
And Zong's whisper, man, it gutted me. And the worst part, he left all the songs, but not himself. We can play him forever, but we'll never, never call him again. That's the core of the void they're facing, isn't it?
It really is.
Not just losing a mentor or boss, it's losing that foundational human connection, the architect of their world. What does that mean for them, building their lives, their art around him, to suddenly face a future without his hand guiding things?
Zong's words capture the tragedy and the unique challenge. He left this immense musical inheritance, like Gia said, a huge archive of art, emotion, survival patterns. But the personal connection, the human presence, being able to just talk to the guy who understood them, that's gone.
Yeah.
This void forces them to redefine relationships with him, his art, each other. They have to find new ways to connect, collaborate, draw strength, not from his presence, but from the blueprint he left. Transitioning from direct guidance to interpreting a legacy, from receiving wisdom to embodying it. The unseen narrative here is how these powerful women will coalesce, lead in his absence, how the void itself becomes a catalyst.
And then in that heavy silence, this completely unscripted moment, everyone, instinctively at the same time, reaches for their glass. Water, champagne, coffee, didn't matter. They just clinked them together, silently. No cheer, no shout, just that soft, almost reverent sound of glass, a quiet seal of understanding. Shared fate. And then the vows started. Leona. For every song he left us in.
Wow.
Mariah. For every verse he trusted us with. Riveray. For every file still sitting in his drive. And Minx, after a pause, almost whispering, for every night none of us can talk about, but all of us remember. Just this powerful sacred ritual, communal anointing of his legacy.
It felt like a communal commitment to that musical inheritance, a solemn vow not just to mourn, but to actively carry his legacy. This wasn't about burying his absence. It was acknowledging his enduring presence, transforming grief into purpose.
Yeah.
Like we discussed, D.L.B. wasn't just making music. He was recording survival patterns, setting memories mid-collapse via voice notes, embedding his essence, their history, into the tracks. This silent toast transforms his departure not into an end, but perpetuation of his work, a living continuity.
He's not in the room, but he is the room.
That feeling became so tangible right then. It solidifies their collective purpose, binds them in this shared responsibility, the sacred duty to ensure his vision lives on through them, an unspoken contract to uphold the unseen narrative of 11SIX.
Yeah, that moment just it snuck with me. Well, on a pragmatic level, you see this incredible architect building something that outlives him, securing their future, his legacy, even as he steps away. He left them a map, a message in a bottle, breadcrumbs, testament to building something bigger than yourself. But for them, and for us, watching, it was so much more personal, raw grief, but also this fierce determination to honor a profound connection.
For me, it was that weight of witnessing profound grief intertwined with incredible resilience.
Yeah.
Speaks to that fundamental human need to process loss collectively through shared memory, shared purpose. They're not just carrying his art, they're carrying his spirit, his lessons, his vision into a future where they have to be the torchbearers. Felt like watching a new chapter begin, born from the raw emotion of an ending. Shows their true strength, not just as artists, but as a community that survived immense challenges.
Yeah.
They understood the legacy wasn't just the sound, but the survival patterns he documented and the bonds he forged.
You know, after all that emotional weight, that raw vow, it's really Sophia Luna who steps forward as this incredible bridge, the guide to what's next.
Yeah.
Her role in this whole 11SIX ecosystem, especially now, you just can't overstate it.
No, absolutely not.
Creative director of Neon Vision Studios, founder of Aura by Sophie, executive at Dream 2 Real Management, managing Tala, Leona, K1A, HHN Girls. She literally keeps the calendar and the chaos in this universe.
Sophia is absolutely pivotal. Her unique position lets her bridge the gap between D.L.B's raw music and his broader A Daniels Vision empire, which is really this sprawling cinematic universe.
Right.
And her history with D.L.B adds another layer. She admitted that past connection once, before I was even here. But the second I signed on, it stopped. All business instant. Her respect for his boundaries. He doesn't blur those lines once they're set. That's crucial. That personal history, now strictly professional, positions her as this almost sacred gatekeeper of his creative legacy, someone who gets the personal depths, but also the disciplined architecture of his vision, especially now.
And her background is just perfectly suited for this. Coming from film and branding, Paramount, Sony Music, Balenciaga, she's uniquely qualified to take the raw music, the personal dynamics we've been talking about, and translate that into visual art, a broader narrative.
Exactly.
He's like, she's the one who knows how to package his survival patterns into something cinematic, something that lives beyond just sound. She sees the story in the sound, the movie, and the melody.
Precisely. Her expertise lets her see the stories embedded not just in the music, but in their lived experiences, and envision how that translates cinematically.
Yeah.
She's not just organizing, she's interpreting, expanding, ensuring D.L.B's work, rooted in personal experience, raw emotion, those unseen narratives of survival, finds new, expansive forms.
Yeah.
She can connect the lyrical breadcrumbs he left to the vibrant visual landscape of a Daniels vision, giving his legacy a whole new dimension. She understands the architecture wasn't just for music. It was for an entire world.
Which brings us to where Sophia is about to lead us. We've spent this deep dive, especially the second part, immersed in the raw music, the personal dynamics, that somber shadow of D.L.B's departure. But now, it's like turning a page, moving from audio to visual, from raw studio takes and whispered truths to the big screen. Sophia's pulling back the curtain on Neon Bonds and the full A Daniels Vision cinematic universe. It makes you wonder, right? If D.L.B left his music as a map to find him, what does it mean when the map itself becomes a movie? A living, breathing, visual story unraveling the mysteries he left behind.
It leaves you with so much to think about, doesn't it? These messy, unresolved relationships, personal and professional, still shaping this whole ecosystem, this complex world that just refuses to be simplified. The power in these women's voices, their refusal to be confined by narratives, the sheer resilience it takes to build and carry a legacy, even as one chapter closes.
Yeah.
It's truly remarkable. They're the living embodiment of his vision, ready to tell those stories he archived.
Absolutely. The architect steps away, but the architecture remains, evolving, expanding in ways we can only guess at. What happens next for 11SIX, for these women, for the industry, when the person who created the blueprint, who recorded those survival patterns, isn't physically there to guide it? That's a question that's going to linger. An open-ended narrative begging for more. The unseen story, like always, is far from over.
It's a testament to the idea that real influence isn't about control. It's about creating something so compelling, so honest, so human, that it takes on its own life, echoing across time through new mediums.
Join us next time as Sophia Luna pulls back the curtain on Neon Bonds and the cinematic universe of A Daniels Vision. The story, as always, is far from over. This episode is powered by NeonKore Media for stories they said were too real to tell.